The laughter echoed in my mind like the rattle of bones on a cold, windswept night. "You'll lose your mind, you know," my brother sneered, slumped in his chair, the dim light of our childhood home casting shadows across his smirk. "Researching fungi is one thing, but haunted architecture? Cursed spores? You're delusional." I had pictured the family gathered around the dinner table that evening, my parents clad in their disapproving frowns, my sisters' mocking giggles echoing like a choir of the damned. All of them had stood united in their ridicule, and it had cut deeper than any knife. It had carved a space for something dark inside me, something that whispered a terrible truth among the mockery. I was utterly alone. Years later, I'd be a ghost, too, haunting the corners of forgotten quarantine zones, where the air shimmered with decay and the spore-laden soil throbbed with promise. I had relinquished any hope of familial warmth, choosing instead the cold embrace of twisted mycelium. I was a whistleblower dismissed, but now I wielded knowledge that could make the very ground quake beneath those who scoffed at specters and spores. "Are you sure you want to go back?" my colleague asked, shoving a faded photograph of my family's house into my hands. "After everything." There was a tremor in his voice, but I waved him off. I had spent years piecing my life back together after the betrayal, after the world had turned its back on me for daring to expose the illegal dumping that had cost innocent lives. I was a pariah, but the mycelium had embraced me, whispered secrets that unfurled inside the dark recesses of my mind. When I arrived at my childhood home, it stood in stark contrast to the oppressive shadows I had spent years exploring. The paint was peeling. Overgrown vines clung to the crumbling brick, and the air thrummed with an unsettling energy. I stepped across the threshold, fortified by the knowledge I had unearthed, and found my family sitting in the living room, their faces a collage of astonishment and denial. "What are you doing here?" My mother's voice quivered, laced with irritation and a hint of fear. "You shouldn't have come back. You're a disgrace." But the way she held my gaze betrayed her concern, as if she sensed the shift in the world around us. "I've come to show you," I breathed, drawing in the scent of wet earth and decay that clung to me like a second skin. "Show you what's real." I reached into my satchel, pulling out a glass vial containing the iridescent spores I had collected, mutagenic, sentient. They danced within the glass, swirling like dark thoughts, ready to spill over into the world. "These are from a zone the government sealed off. No one was ever meant to see them. No one believed me, but I've learned things. Things that they'll never understand." That's when the tremors began. The walls shook, the old timber creaked, and the air grew thick with something that felt alive, coiling around us like an unwelcome guest. My family stared at me, their expressions morphing from disbelief to horror, but I continued, an insistent whisper tumbling from my lips. "They're alive, you see. They're watching. They know when we doubt." "Stop it!" my brother shouted, his bravado faltering as the shadows coalesced in the corners. Thick and curling. "This isn't real!" I laughed, a sound laced with madness, but it was their laughter that had led me to this moment of truth. "You thought I was insane. Now you'll understand what I've become." Suddenly, one of the S,